Venga ya, tío. Es que iba hacia adelante y no hacia atrás, tío. Le he dado hacia adelante. Es que ya no es que sea difícil, ¿sabes, cariño? Porque difícil no es. Es que se me está haciendo pesado. Porque tengo que darle 200 hostias a un bicho para matarlo.
Pues no, ya cambiará eso.
No lo sé. Ese es el problema, que no lo sé. ¿Sabes? El tema es... Yo ya sé 7 movimientos del pavo, pero si estoy en un combate 15 minutos, muero por desgaste. Al final me quedo sin curaciones y palmo.
Bueno, ya, pero no sabes si todo va a ser así. Si das por hecho que va a ser todo así, pues no vas a terminarlo nunca. Pero si sabes que, si te haces la idea de que seguramente más adelante no sea así,
No, a ver, es que estamos hablando, cariño, de que es la primera partida. Si yo voy a tener que pasarme todo el juego, la primera vuelta, asqueado vivo con todos los jefes, estamos jodidos.
pero nadie dice que es la primera vuelta, a lo mejor solo es el primer jefe.
El segundo allí también me costó, que era la tía esa que paralizaba, la tía asquerosa.
Bueno, no lo sabes, repito.
Ya, no sé. Solo te digo. El problema que estoy viendo, no, que al final me lo voy a matar por cabezonería. Me cuesta bien poco a 2 tíos y me ayudan y ya está
It's
muerto.
locked,
Me he quitado
all right.
casi toda la vida.
Ya.
O sea, si yo solo casi lo mato, si un poco lo matamos seguro. Pero no me da los cojones.
Ammunition crate. Good. I may need a lot of bullets. I feel like I'm back on
Uy.
the front line again. It's locked.
Sorry, sir. No admittance. Last warning, sir. Over there! There's one of them birds.
I cannot enter.
No. Ahí está. Eso es. Vale. Ok.
Crush the leech, boys!
Chicos, toma
Christ! He's dead!
We won't see any of these bastards back here again.
Venga ya, tío.
Stay away! Look at it! Fish! Over there! There's one of them vermin! Oh, Christ!
casi.
Después de... ¿cuánto llevo de directo? Me he pasado la primera pantalla.
Sir, step away! Stop over there!
Oh. No sé que habría algo, pero no.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Aún no tengo. Ah, pues ya lo tenía.
We won't see any of these bastards back here again.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
As one, we shall overcome this. We've done it before.
Brother, I had a drink outside tonight already and it did not quench my thirst. I must have more.
Esto huele a seco.
Not again. William, please stop.
Just a sip, I promise. Dearest friend, you're my last and dearest friend.
It's locked. This place reeks of bloodshed.
Please, let go of me.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
¡Hala! ¡Cabrón! Oh, ese es el William de ese. Al final he mejorado esto para pollas. Porque...
Let me go. William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by Skal?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you... like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help.
Sí, a buenas horas.
Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed his drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me. This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
Ahora sí nos fuimos. Ahora está.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... what manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that Skal. You must know who she is.
And I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a A surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it! I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy?
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea, immediately.
Welcome aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Ay, joder, déjame ya la puta mano. Hacia el hospital de Pembroke. Vale.
You can do better than that. Nah. It's my turn.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seed of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
No me lo quiero. Aunque se lo merezca. Vale, liberar.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
Vamos a intentar llevar por el
It is
camino.
wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter can run for long.
Sí, pero no tengo sed. De hecho, estoy bien.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Ya volveré cuando tenga pistas. Déjame pasar.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Creo que no ha sido el juego más acertado para jugar en directo. A causa de la gripe, este hospital no admite más pacientes. El hospital está completo, vuelva a casa, por favor. Bueno, estamos luchando contra la gripe española. Guiño, guiño. Estamos en cuarentena. Ah, mira, aquí hay más gente. Perfecto.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Ah, es
Good
usted.
evening, Doctor.
No,
Goodbye,
yo
nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
venía a hablar con este señor.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the
No,
personnel
very
of a
good.
hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled
deja
by
ya decir la otra.
appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion
Asco
about
de
the management?
frases.
I
Pero
don't
esto fue
always
en
agree with
1914.
Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
A ver.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Ahora.
Your attitude is irresponsible, Doctor. Believe me, I've seen so many medical errors caused by exhaustion during the war.
You're right. This is a war, Dr. Reed, and I don't intend to surrender.
Es R1.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Your attitude is irresponsible, Doctor. Believe me, I've seen so many medical errors caused by exhaustion during the war.
You're right. This is a war, Dr. Reed, and I don't intend to surrender.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Ay.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything. And it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
¿Por dónde se pagan los jardines? Pues supongo que no me dejarán hasta que haya hecho pasar la primera noche, supongo. ¿Qué?
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby.
Esta mujer está muy loca, es una
I feel them
mortal.
watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Pues ya está.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Prevenga la enfermedad. Escupir, estornudar, toser ayudan a propagar la gripe. Los fluidos nasales y guturales promueven el contagio. No tosa en público. Vamos a terminar de hablar con la gente antes de ver si puedo salir por aquí, porque algo me dice que lo del jardín es por aquí. Tiene toda la pintaza. ¡Ay! No te cierres.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was
¿Ves?
spared?
Eso tiene razón. Ni siquiera la peste pudo matarnos. ¿Cómo lo va a hacer una gripe? ¿Eh?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Do you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. It's locked. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
No, todavía no me da ninguna pista.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
A ver qué más encontramos por aquí.
The pain. There again.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Hallcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. But frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
We're disgust on every street corner. Daily routine.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Yeah.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Dooth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
I wish I could think again. The pain. Blood boil with the fever. Clear again.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wonder what your last thoughts would be, sir.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Aykroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Do you need my medical attention, dear colleague?
You don't have to worry about me, Dr. Reed. I am here to assist you, not to be a burden.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Cuántas cosas hay para ver aquí.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Aykroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Aykroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansey's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Aykroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansey has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansey, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Other people may say that's too conservative a point of view.
Conservative? And what are you going to say to Mr. Fiddick if he loses his arm because of the operation? Because that's what's going to happen if the surgery is a failure.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. And it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
I will see you later. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic, It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Faltas tú.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right. Considering the state of this place, I should consider myself lucky, I guess.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me,
¿Dónde está esa cabrona?
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead. A colleague? Are you a doctor too? Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is, we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me
is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidano.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Do you need medical attention?
I'm feeling all right, Doctor. But perhaps it is because I, too, am used to the smell of the dead.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Uf, putada. Cocaína. Me interesa esto. Luego.
It's locked, all right.
Estoy buscando a la otra. La puta. No, aquí no. Vale. Aquí está usted.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Ay, no me dejas todavía.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
No te preocupes, que te voy a pillar. A ver dónde estás tú. Milton.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Shit.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
Why do you have such a mediocre reputation among your colleagues, Milton?
Fuck them. Nobody knows the horrors I've seen since working here. This city was sick long before the epidemic, Dr. Reed.
I know it's a difficult task, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not the job you are paid to do?
I've seen babies left to die while their brothers were properly fed. Underage girls and boys sold to all manner of perverts.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly. We lack words. So excuse me if I don't look on the bright side of life.
Pero si estás siendo un hijo puta, cabrón, traficas con armas y vendes camas de hospital a la gente, pagas por llevarlo, cabrón.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Vamos a ver si te tengo.
Any good news to share?
No lo sé. No. No.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Pues voy a hablar con la enfermera esta.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
A ver, yo quiero ver si puedo poner misiones. Sí, yo creo. No, es aquí. Sí, pero... A ver... Sí, esta es la misión principal, pero yo estoy buscando las secundarias. Pero aquí no es, eso seguro. ¿Quién es ese? Ah, sí, este tío. Vale, por aquí no es. Pero segurísimo. Pero recuerdo que he visto antes un sitio. Por aquí no, porque siempre acabo aquí. En la entrada había un sitio en la parte de atrás que creo que valía para... Aquí creo que era para entrar al jardín.
It's locked. Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
What? Oye. Torpe. Uy. Hay mucha gente. Wow. Hijo de puta. No, suelta. Vale, tú te vas a cagar. Mierda. He muerto por hacer el idiota. Bueno, no pasa nada. Se vuelve a intentar y ya está. No ha pasado nada. Creo que sí que voy a primero a evolucionar. ¿Qué? Más que nada porque me han dado una paliza. Padre. Aquí está el doctor Francia, que quiero hablar con él.
I cannot enter.
Esta puerta está cerrada. Vale. Nos echan. Aquí no podemos entrar. Vale. Cositas. Eso nos interesa. Eso es interesante. Eso nos puede ayudar a curar a ese señor. 75 de daño. ¿Es a una mano? No está mal. Vamos a cambiarla, yo creo. Sí. Sí.
It's locked.
A ver qué hay por aquí.
It's locked, all right. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes.
Pues.
Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Econ. Entiendo. ¿Qué dice? ¿Quién está hablando?
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Interesante. Aunque a mí me interesaría más.
Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching.
The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Vale, a ver. A ver, me interesaría... El desgarrón me interesa, pero es que me lo gastaría todo en esto. Y prefiero empezar más 15 de energía. Esto me interesa mucho. Esto me interesa mucho. Puedo llevar 3 sueros, el número de balas que puedes llevar, los sueros. Me interesan mucho. Vale, ya lo tengo.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Sí, de hecho necesitas. Vale, vamos a ponernos a ello.
The flower's dying. It needs
Mejor.
water.
Porque se supone que nos sienta mal, así que aquí no hay nada más. Uy.
I'm not...
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
What type of hospital are you running? No antiseptics?
You have been away too long, Doctor. With the war and now this epidemic, supplies have been running scarce for months now.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way, then. Thank you, nurse.
Espera.
Yes, Doctor?
Exactly how bad is the supply situation here at Pembroke?
It really depends. Dr. Swansea deftly works his society contacts for monies, but with the quarantine, well, we're in God's hands.
Why then do you always work the nights? Don't you ever sleep?
At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit, Nurse Crane, but when do you sleep?
We staff get our sleep when we can, Doctor. Nursing is a vocation, not the labor of a journeyman.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster. I've witnessed many a colleague succumb to stimulants to fight exhaustion. Drugs were as deadly as bullets in the trenches.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital. We are on the front line, make no mistake.
Please, could you point me in the direction of the morgue again?
It's the large boarded-up building behind the hospital. You can't miss it. The key I gave you will open the small back door to it.
Perfecto. Sí, sé dónde es.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane. Thank you.
Probablemente sea por mi culo que está robando. Vale, o sea que lo que le pasa es que como yo tengo una habitación para mí solo y él no, por eso está cabrón. Normal. Aquí no hay nada. Vamos a volver a intentarlo en el jardín antes de ir a la morgue. Vale, aquí tampoco se puede hacer nada. Pues vámonos. Nos acordamos, es aquí y aquí. Esa será la morgue.
It's locked, all right.
Pues no, pensaba que era esto. Vamos a buscar. Vamos a dar mucho más. Porque ando jodidísimo de esto. Ya le tengo que matar. ¡Ey! Me das cositas. Eso es bueno. Vale, a ver si encontramos la cartera de este hombre. Y vamos con cuidado porque hay un montón de gente aquí. ¿Esto qué es? ¿Esto? ¿What the fuck? Vale, por aquí no podemos entrar. No sé qué cojones es este sitio. Pero algo me dice que por aquí todavía no tengo que ir. Aquí tengo que tener cuidado. Puto. Ya te digo que tú me vas a devolver toda la sangre que me he quitado, hijo de puta. Hombre, ¿qué os habéis creído, cabrones? Sangre. Más sangre. Una fotografía de una pareja sonriendo, el reverso de una frase. Milton y Pipa por...
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item.
O sea, esto es la foto nada más, ¿no? Ay, coño, ¿dónde está el inventario? Sí, estas son las armas, pero yo estoy buscando esto. Sí.
Those two have hidden their affections well.
Aquí hay tomatito. Es bueno. Así que... una aventura amorosa y... una pareja que estafa a la gente del hospital. Cuarentena. No se acerquen a esta zona. Por decreto de que me siente seguro. Bueno, soy un vampiro, a mí no me afecta. Soy un vampiro. Eso te miro. Vale, a ver. Uy, ¿aquí se podrá pasar? Nah. Vale, vamos a hablar con este señor ahora. En cuanto podamos.
I cannot enter.
No, pues no es aquí. ¿Dónde coño está la morgue? Tiene que estar por aquí. A ver, me indica que aquí. ¿Este edificio es o no es? O a lo mejor es allí. Vale, 20, 27, 13, 12, 11, 10. Es aquí. Vale, vale, vale. Y esto tiene pinta de ser chungo. Vale. Esto no suena bien. De hecho suena que hay bichos aquí. Maravilloso. Uf, qué mal suena eso. No me quiero ir todavía. Bueno, sí me quiero ir, pero no puedo. Tengo cosas que coger. 7, 6, 5. Aquí hay algo. Que me dice que aquí y ahora me dice que allí. Supongo que es ahí. Con estos chelines ya tengo para la fórmula esa. Pero no veo dónde cojones tengo.
It's locked.
Vale, necesito la llave. Vale, ya empezamos. Vale, antes de ir ahí, matar a ese tío. Ajá.
Balls of Mars. Fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Y además todo lo que yo consigo aquí de material me va a ser muy útil para... ¿Tú vas a darme? Ay, joder. Menos mal que me acabo yo. Si tú crees que con el... Así pues toma.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza. It's locked, all right.
Dinerico. No le hace falta. Pitillera. Creo que hay cosas que las puedo deshacer. Cualquier file me da un mal rollo.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
No sé por qué me da que el hecho de que esté cerrado es que hay algo chungo ahí debajo. Vale, acabo de... dar de merendar. ¿Serás cabrón? Cúrate. Cúrate. Uf. Y tú vas... Uf, menos mal. Guau. Vale, el susto que me ha dado ha sido mayor. Ay, mira la patata. No esperaba yo que me vinieran por la espalda. ¿Y este qué le ha pasado? Joder, otro que me da un susto de muerte. Y no debería haber dicho palabrotas, ya lo sé. Que ahora YouTube está muy tonto con lo de las palabrotas. Pues me toca ir al sótano y no tengo nada de ganas. Nada de ganas de ir al sótano. ¡Hijo de puta! Vale, he visto a alguien que se teleportaba y no tengo nada de ganas de bajar ahí. ¿Quién era? Vale, ahí hay dos. Hay dos. Joder.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not our people.
Bueno, dale. Y sí, he visto cómo se iba uno corriendo. Así que en cualquier momento me puede venir algún cabrón. Es lo único que no me gusta de estos juegos. Lo paso muy mal. No lo necesito, pero puedo, así que... ¡Oh! Vale. Pues toma, hijo de perro. ¡Ay, que me mata, que me mata! Come. Vamos a curarnos, que nos hace mucha falta. Joder. No tenemos... Vamos bien de sangre, ¿eh? No es como que vayamos jodidos ni nada. Vale, antes de venir aquí... Primero que he visto esto. Manchalinas. Aquí hay cositas. Tártaros ferros. Y aquí había otro tío. Otro hijo puta. No tengo nada de gana de cruzarme con él. Vale. Mi cena. No ha sido nada agradable. Que conste. Cuchillo. Vale, este lo que hace, si no me equivoco, es que no puedes... ¿Ves? En vez de tener que atontarles, directamente les robas sangre. De momento prefiero la... Investigación sobre ciudadanos disponible. A ver. Vale. Agotamiento, vale. Sí, esto ya cuando lo vea lo arreglaré.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this.
Vamos a empezar con la comisión.
Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. Then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Sí. Se ha cargado un tío al fin y al cabo. Vale, esto me lleva a la sala de antes. Vale. Uy, ¿había algo ahí que brillaba? Sí.
It's locked.
Mierda. Jolines. ¿Y no hay una llave o algo para conseguirla? ¿Hemos visto esta sala antes? No estoy segura. Vale. A ver, no sé por qué estaba este tío aquí, pero no me gusta nada. Uf. Es que estoy viendo... Lo sabía. ¡Wow! ¿Qué se... ¿Era cabrón? ¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está el cabrón? ¿Qué me indica ahí? Ah, está ahí.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Esto no me inspira mucha confianza, Hola, ¿qué pego? ¿Qué coño pasa? No me dejan entrar. A ver. No me dejan entrar, cabrón. Supongo que porque no he vencido a este tío. Lo único que sé es que el cabrón se ha curado. Y no sé dónde cojones está. Creo que se ha bugueado. Puede ser que sí. No me jodas. Perdón, no me digas. No, aquí no. Pues no, tiene que ser allá abajo. Porque si no, no me va a dejar meterme en ese sitio. Porque técnicamente no ha muerto el boss. Ni me va a dar lo que necesito, ni nada. Así que es un problema. Lo bueno es que ya está limpio todo. Vale, aquí creo que no hay nada. No, es allí. Me cago en... ¿De verdad? No lo entiendo. Debería dejarme entrar, pero no me deja. Aunque técnicamente se debería poder por el otro lado. Se ha caído del mapa. El boss se ha caído del mapa. Es que está claro que yo no puedo jugar nada sin buguearlo. Nos iremos por la puerta. ¿Qué remedio? ¿Dónde está la salida? Aquí. Toca irse. Voy a intentar salir y entrar otra vez a ver si así desbloqueo o desbugueo al muñeco. Y si no, pues nada, pues no podemos entrar la cura porque... ver si reaparecen o algo. Ahora que ya sé que esperarme. De momento la gente de aquí no ha reaparecido. Para mí es una ventaja. Pero me han jodido el acceso a ese sitio. Aquí estamos, eso. Oye. Oye. Ay, yo no creo que voy a beber de ti, cabrón. Uy. Toma. Uy. Pero déjame curar menos al cabrín. Mierda, no. Toma esa, cabrín. Ahora me deja devolver la sangre. Me has quitado. Ah. Vamos a curarnos. Ay, eso, cúrate. Vamos, que no me vas a dar. Cabrón. Vale, cúrate. ¡Ah! No.
So ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Vale, pero eso creo que no es en toda España, ¿eh? Yo aún no he oído en las noticias. Yo sí que he oído a gente decirlo por ahí, como en Italia, pero no sabía. En toda España, sí, lo han dicho bastante. Yo no lo he escuchado, tenía la tele puesta. Ya. Yo me he quitado hoy el vendaje y el viernes me quitaron 2 puntos. Ya puedo moverlo del borde. Pues tomando las pastillas esas para hepatitis. ¿No has visto las fotos? Son pastillacas.
Sí, pero yo no sabía para qué te han dado esa pastilla, qué tratamiento.
Para hepatitis. Pero bueno, bien. Llevo una semana tomándola.
¿Te sientas bien?
Bueno, no muy bien.
No muy bien, ¿no?
Pero hay que tomársela.
Ya.
Me dan dolor de cabeza
Pues
y estoy muy cansado.
Te dan dolor de cabeza y estás más cansado, ¿no?
Pero bien.
Pues tienes que comprar y hacer reserva porque ya te digo, está declarada la alerta máxima.
Yo... es que va a estar petado.
Sí.
Ir al supermercado, sí. Si está en la alerta máxima, como dice, va a estar petado, yo tengo para toda la semana de momento.
Ah, pues entonces bien, porque hay que quedarse en casa por lo menos 15 días, han dicho.
Yo de momento tengo para toda la semana. Ya cuando se me acabe ir a comprar lo que me haga falta, pero comprarla ahora que va a estar todo lleno de gente, paso.
Las pastillas que se están tomando. ¿Qué dice José que te habías puesto? Digo, la pastilla que te estás tomando.
Sí, pero para que veas el tamaño que son, que he puesto la mano al lado y cada pastilla es como la yema del dedo.
Enorme, sí.
Son
Espera, que
gordas.
te voy a poner a ver. ¿Todo bien, Cristian, entonces?
Sí, bien.
El chuso se tiene que quedar ahí en Madrid y no lo dejan salir.
Ya.
¿Vale? ¿Puedes hablar?
Me imagino, y vosotros habéis quedado sin fallas.
Sí, nos hemos quedado sin falla.
¿Qué es lo que hay? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa, Alex? ¿Qué haces? ¿Qué? Ya, y es normal que te has quedado sin curro. ¿En verano qué vas a hacer? ¿Vas a estar a 2 faenas?
Yo me he ido a España, pues así que este verano. Ahora voy a parar de parar un montón como antes, o sea, bastante más. A ver qué tal, pero estamos de atrás, ¿no?
Hombre. Pero tronco, es que en verano ahora el chiringuito o camarero.
No, estaba trabajando con chiquillos en... No lo tenía que decir.
Ah.
O sea, que yo he 2 años. La putada es que, pues bueno, los niños se han encerrado, pues no, me dejaron allá.
Pero bueno, ahora si te han tirado por lo de esto, luego cuando termine te volverán a coger y de todas maneras el paro no se te agota, ¿sabes? Tú puedes al paro. Lo dijo ayer el presidente, que los trabajos que se tuvieran que... el empresario que tuviera que despedir a gente porque no tiene faena, pues los trabajadores van a tener el paro y no se les va a acabar. Es decir, tú tienes el paro y luego vuelves a trabajar en tu faena y es como si no hubieras caído en el paro, ¿entiendes? No gastas días. Sí, y aunque no hubieras llegado, aunque hubieras estado trabajando un mes, que no tuvieras derecho a paro, tendrías paro igual. Claro, tío. Tú ves y míralo, pero... Lo dijo ayer por la tarde. Ayer a mediodía dio las eso, cuando cayó la bolsa tanto, estuvo dando las directrices de lo que iba a hacer. Y lo que iba a hacer es eso, porque claro, él dijo, a ver, sí, va a haber crisis, pero que no haya crisis como siempre para lo mismo. ¿Me has visto, Ale? Con gafas.
Le he visto. Siempre está subiendo.
Ya, pero yo es que Instagram no lo uso.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Lo que pasa es que no se ha peinado. Toma.
Ya me llega largo.
De ahora está coleccionando, está haciéndose... Espera, toma. Que ellos no sabrán, otra, pero ya no está. se ponga con ello.
Pues sí.
Claro. Y yo, pues como tenía reservado, y además me ha venido con anillo al dedo, tenía reservado un juego, ¿sabes? Y me estoy pegando un viciote ahora que te cagas. Un juego nuevo. Pero es que no había otra cosa. Y nada, el Quique me ha pedido un colchón, porque el colchón que hay aquí lleva desde casa de cuándo. Y me va a regalar un colchón, que yo se lo pagaré cuando pueda. Me lo ha pedido por internet. Y oye, tiene que venir, pues si se han cortado todos, no sé si vendrá, porque en principio era para el martes. ¿Cómo tenía que venir?
No, que si te has dicho ahora, imposible que lo llevas.
Pero es... Hombre, a ver, eso es un pedido, es un transporte que no es ni de urgencia ni de primera necesidad, es un colchón. Pues igual me quedo sin colchón 20 días.
Los tíos de Front estaban aquí, como van a cerrar carreteras, se van mañana, ¿eh?
¿Van a cerrar carreteras?
¿Eso has dicho?
Creo que llegaron el día 10, justo cuando metieron entre las vallas, o sea, que se dio redondo, ¿sabes?
Pues si van a cerrar carreteras, como se queden encerrados, que vayan los bomberos. Así de claro, ¿sabes? Hombre, ¿qué estoy haciendo con el bigote? ¿Eh? Sí, está bien.
Qué locura esto que me ha visto usted. Yo no sé qué ha pasado ahora, tenemos 14 días de cuarentena.
Pues, ¿qué ha pasado? Pues gente como tú, que viaja a Italia, no tiene cuidado, viene de allí, viene de allá, como los de las mil. Claro. Ya, a ver, hay mucho tonto en la familia, como en todas las familias. Pero ¿qué le vamos a hacer? El carnicero...
El problema es, esto es serio. Les he llamado para que estén antes de parte militar y dentro de poco, si sigue haciendo cosas, van a estar montares, o sea, para montar, aparte de los hospitales, carros militares para atender a la gente y como hay disturbios, o sea, salir de
A ver, eso son sus normalidades. Si lo que tendrían que hacer es montar un sitio, por ejemplo, en Bilbao un punto fijo, en Madrid un punto fijo, o dos, o tres, ¿vale? Los que sean. Y tú montas esos puntos fijos y allí haces las pruebas y no tiene nadie contacto con nadie. Eso de estar ambulancia para arriba, ambulancia para abajo es un gasto que te cagas. Cuando tú puedes hacer que la gente vaya directamente allí y ya está. ¿Sabes? No, pero que no habría ningún afectado. O sea, quiero decir, tú coges y en por internet, yo lo he visto, es como lo hacen en Corea del Sur. Tú por internet te bajas una aplicación y pones tus datos personales y dices, creo que puedo tener el virus. Y te dan una fecha y una hora, ya está. Y con esa fecha y esa hora vas y te hacen las pruebas. Que tienes carnet, vas con tu coche. Ni sin bajarte del coche te hacen el raspado de la nariz, te miran los mocos y ya está. Y al día siguiente te llega la prueba si tienes coronavirus o no en el móvil y si te tienes que quedar en casa. Y como te tienes geolocalizado, sabes si has salido o no. ¿Sabes? Eso es lo que están haciendo allí. Que no tienes carnet de coche y no puedes ir, pues mandan un vehículo con un conductor y te lleva. Claro. Mucho mejor que aquí. Aquí, cada vez que llama un notas, tiene que ir una ambulancia con dos tíos con trajes hasta arriba, con gafas y toda la hostia, ¿sabes? ¿No es mejor si esos dos tíos están en un sitio? Claro, y no tienen que quitarse y ponerse, ¿entiendes? Pero vamos a ver que eso es hacer una aplicación, que hay un montón de informáticos que eso hacen 20 minutos. Y no tienes 20.000 números de teléfono, uno para cada comunidad autónoma. Con la aplicación ya te dicen dónde tienes que ir y ya está. Es que es un lío que te cagas. No tenemos ni puta idea de hacer las cosas. Ya está. A ver, que esto no lo digo... Esto da igual que hubiese estado Vox, o que esté el PSOE, o que esté Podemos. Si no se están haciendo bien las cosas, no se están haciendo bien las cosas. Desde el principio, si en Italia habían 3.000 casos y de aquí habían 20... que no haya ninguno, porque habían 20, eran los de Tenerife y los del barco. Claro, que sí, que es muy bonito, que tal y pascual. Hostia, ya, pero te evitas problemas. Y no te hubiera bajado la bolsa 8.000 o 10.000 puntos.
A lo mejor sí, porque claro, al cerrar fronteras no vienen tampoco a tu país. Pero no te jodes fallas con turismo y luego, o contrólalos, por lo menos. Es que no se han controlado nada. Yo me acuerdo en China al principio, estaban con termómetros y toda la hostia en los aeropuertos. Aquí ni polla, fritas en vinagre. Claro, aquí han pasado el tema. Pero yo en mi hospital lo mismo, yo el día 6 estuve en el hospital para que me dieran el tratamiento y luego leyendo, el día 5 había palmado un tío allí, le habían cerrado una planta, había 2 médicos contagiados y un follón que te cagas también. Y yo me pasé en el hospital de urgencias con la chiquilla, ¿es verdad o no? Pero bueno.
Tendrá un mal polvo cada vez que tosía día.
Sí, la tía donde estaba la farmacia de las medicinas estaba todo el rato tosiendo como una loca, la abuela esa. Tío, pero bueno, en fin, que no sé. Ya, si han cerrado todo, pues a quedarse en casa, que me den por culo. Que vaya a trabajar su puta madre. A ver, nosotros vamos por todos los patios tocando todos los botones de los ascensores y los pomos de las puertas y tocándolo todo, ¿sabes? Tampoco me gustaba nada. Hoy habían mandado un email que compráramos guantes y gel nosotros, que es que no habían podido conseguirlo. Hombre, claro que no habéis podido conseguirlo. Ahora que no hay ni en las farmacias, ¿quieres comprarlo tú para mandarlo a todas las delegaciones? No me jodas. O sea, yo me he comprado pues un par de paquetes de estos, de guantes, y hoy me los he puesto para trabajar, pero vamos, que tampoco solventaré nada. Mira esta. Está igual que siempre. Está igual que siempre.
No, es que está subido.
Lo que pasa es que está de pie de gilipollas. Ya. ¿Pero qué tienes? ¿Otro más o qué? Me he dado 2 jaulas. Mira, pajarito. Está muy guapo. Sí, ¿no? Si poquito no hay que salir nunca, o sea, si no hay que salir, ya está. Pues las veces que tengas que salir para comprar, que tienes que ir a comprar, pues vale. Pero es que yo también lo veo innecesario. Lo que tendrían que hacer ahora mismo, desde el gobierno, es obligar a que las compras sean por internet. Y que si no tienes y obligar a todos los supermercados a que acepten pago al contado. Pero claro, ¿qué pasa? Si los transportistas no trabajan, a ver, ¿cómo se cierra el supermercado? ¿Cómo dices que toda la gente se quede en casa, que cierras carreteras, que no trabaje ni el tato? Y los reponedores del supermercado y los cajeros.
Sí, están todos trabajando el doble o el triple.
Y le van a dar un 20% más.
Es que no sé.
Tienen que ganar mucho más.
Ahora me enteraré. Cuando termine la pantalla esta me enteraré. Pondré las noticias y veré a ver qué.
Pero es que pues cuando quieras llamas, igual que he hecho yo, ¿eh?
Ya.
Llamas, hablamos y así nos vemos.
No, pero si a mí me da igual. Yo, mira, aquí está la puerta. ¿Tú ves la puerta como está? ¿La ves la puerta? ¿La ves la puerta? ¿La ves? ¿A que está abierta? Pues ya sabes lo que hay.
Bueno, cuando se pueda iremos. Ahora que ya estamos prejubilados, bueno, José está jubilado, yo no. Pero bueno.
Al final, ¿cómo ha quedado todo el tema de juicios?
Muy bien.
¿Sí?
La pensión y bien.
Bueno, me alegro. Pues ya está, ya te digo. No pasa nada.
Mira, está en el sillón, mira. Don José está en el sillón. Ahí. ¿Lo
¿Y ahora qué? ¿Ahora qué? ¿Y nos hemos quedado sin derbi? ¿Eh? Venga, teta. Venga. Venga, hasta luego. Hasta luego. Adiós.
Adiós. Au, bueno, Eli, tío. Que no me des hostias. Te lo he dicho muchas veces.
Bueno, vamos a ver. Ah, pues el agua le ha hecho daño, que le ha caído encima. Uah, me mata. Al menos ya hemos visto. Si pega en determinados puntos se le cae el agua. Pues siento la espera ya la llamada de la familia, así que ya que contestar. Aunque no hay nadie, ¿sabes? Dentro de la espera.
Sí.
Para que lo vea esto en un futuro muy, muy lejano, en una galaxia.
Lo podrá pasar para adelante.
Claro, podéis rebobinar.
Sí, yo también estoy en directo y total no lo está viendo nadie, así que hoy sí, voy a ver si puedo mejorar algún arma. No. ¿Y esta? No. Pero tengo cosas para reciclar. No. Pero a lo mejor tengo para hacer más mierda de estas. Ah, me falta sodio. Necesito sodio, mucho además. Pues habrá que buscar sodio. Este hijo de puta al final se ha muerto. Se me olvida que ahora no podemos decir palabrotas. Que nos hacen pampar en el culo los de YouTube. Y las digo. Pero es sin querer. Que conste. Vale, pues ya ahora sí que nos podemos ir. Y he visto a alguien ahí. Yupi. Ya tengo la cena. Uy, ahí hay muchos. Y se da el cabrón. Vale. No, 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 no. Ya lo tenía. Vale. Tenemos poca sangre. Y eso obviamente no mola. ¿Pero qué me estás contando? Esto es muy justo. Venga. Quita la mierda, cabrón. Esto es muy injusto, ¿eh? Venga, muere otra vez. ¿Por qué? Me va por el culo. Perdón. No sé por qué han reaparecido todos. Pero no mola nada, ¿eh? Venga, ataca. Vale, o sea, en un principio, si mueres, sí que reaparecen los bichitos, los scalp, pero espero que el jefe no. Lo vamos a comprobar ahora mismo. Menos mal, el jefe no. Vale, si muere vuelve a aparecer todo el mundo. Perfecto. Es bueno saberlo. Por suerte... nos venía de hecho hasta bien el que...
Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Nos viene muy bien.
It's locked, all right.
Mierda. Cago en... Porque estábamos un poco mal. Así que vamos a irnos. Además necesito evolucionar. Que tenemos ya 1200. Ya casi tengo para una mejora grande. Vale, aquí hay mucha gente. Hijo puta. Ay, lo siento. Esperaba poder... Uy, un reloj. Eso me va a servir muy bien. Esperaba poder beber de él para no tener que estar yo preocupándome por eso, pero al parecer no va a poder ser. ¿Puedes salir por aquí? Sí. Perfecto. Ay. la morgue es esta. Entonces, ¿esto qué es? ¿El hospital? ¿Puede ser? Sí, esto es el hospital, vale. Pero antes de entregárselo a la doctora, a la enfermera. Convocatoria pública: ¿cómo prevenir la gripe? Español. Tápese la boca con un pañuelo al toser, estornudar. Vaya caminando al trabajo, no escupa, no comparta su vaso. Evite las multitudes. En caso de enfermar, repose y acuda a un médico. ¿Cómo fabricar una mascarilla? Doble una estopilla común de 20 por 40 centímetros de manera que tenga 20 por 20. A continuación, doblela de nuevo para tener una tele de 20 por 10. Los cordeles de las 4 esquinas deben tener una longitud de 25 centímetros. Cúbrase la boca y la nariz como se indica en la ilustración. Ya sabéis cómo fabricar una mascarilla casera, ahora que ya no hay. Me había parecido que podía. Sí, que el hospital está completo. No quiero entrar por aquí porque quiero ir a ver a cierto doctor que no se está portando bien y ha matado a un tío por no hacer caso de lo que dice su médico. Sí, esto ya lo habíamos visto. Aquí está usted.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Para usted no.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
¿Y cuando vuelva a pasar qué?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Necesito más pistas.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening,
Tengo
Doctor.
su cartera
Still trying to
y
save
una
lives.
interesante información.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
I know.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today, people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow, we may be fighting for food.
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least. But I would give everything to be in a better place right now.
Goodbye, Milton.
Qué asco de gente. Todo el mundo da muchísimo asco y a ti nadie le importa. O sea, le demuestras que...
Good
¿Está
evening,
jodido?
Good evening, Doctor.
Y a ellos les va igual. Me importa una mierda.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett in our situation?
Perhaps you did it with the best intentions, Nurse Brannigan, but you took a great risk. Must I remind you that a man died?
You mean you've never made a mistake? Never covered your tracks? Come on, Doctor. I wasn't born yesterday.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of view. Dr. Tippett is a brilliant practitioner. We most definitely need his know-how.
I hope you're right. This is a huge risk we're taking.
Dr. Tippett must regain his confidence. Please, keep this decision between you and me. He doesn't need to know you found out.
Oh, mierda, no debería haber.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Entonces he fallado una pista.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Mierda. ¿Dónde está el doctor? No debería haber dicho eso antes del tiempo. Bueno, ya no pasa nada. ¿Qué le vamos a hacer? No sabía que podía perder pistas. Ahí está pipa. Que también quiero tener unas palabritas.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
Milton cheats patients out of their money at this hospital, Pippa. Are you his accomplice?
Yes, I am.
Is this your definition of being useful? By abusing the sick and poor?
No. It is my definition of getting out of this useless life once and for all.
Whose idea was it?
What difference does it make? We did it together, and I'm guilty as charged.
Answer my question.
It was my idea first, even though Milton would say it was his, to protect me.
Why do you do it?
Why not? Most of the sick who paid for a bed are already dead, or will be soon. Don't you see the futility of all this?
In your position, I would suggest a more elaborate defense. Cynicism will not save you.
This isn't cynicism, it's realism. You still need me, Dr. Reed, and you know it.
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes, Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins. But are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke. But we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
A ver, ¿dónde está esta señora?
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Why do you feel responsible for the injury, Thomas? What really happened?
I wasn't disfigured by any German shells. It happened during my leave. It was an accident.
Tell me what really happened then.
I went with a whore in Rouen. Dead drunk I was. The hotel was a shithole. There was a fire that night.
Did you start the fire? Were you trying to avoid going back to the front? That's not uncommon, you know.
No. It's just that I was asleep when the flames reached the room. The girl was long gone. Bitch never woke me up. Left me to burn.
¿Por qué la mentí?
Come on. It's one thing to come back disfigured by the Germans, and it's another to get injured in an accident that could have happened to anybody.
You know you can't hide forever. One day you'll have to face your loved ones. Until that day, you have no chance of real recovery.
My friends all died in the trenches. It's shameful enough to be alive with these stupid scars. I don't want my children to see me like this.
Told me before you don't want your children to see you like this. Do you have any other family?
My sister Agatha has raised my nippers since their mother died. Don't want them to look at me like this.
How could children despise their father injured in the war?
What do you think? They saw me once. Poor angels left the room crying. They keep on having nightmares every week, my sister told me.
Your sister's not a child. I'm sure she has nothing but respect for a wounded soldier, and you are her brother.
You don't know my sister Agatha. She may be young, but she's all discipline and morality. If she ever found out what really happened...
She doesn't have to know.
She's a sly one, my sister. One day she'll find out the truth and knock 7 bells out of me. Nah. I'm better off here.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Pero aquí arriba. ¿Por qué no la veo? ¿Dónde está la pipa Hawkins esta? ¿Dónde está esta mujer?
It's locked.
Me sale ahí. Vamos a ver si la encuentro. Aquí no está. Y aquí tampoco. Vale, pues estará abajo.
Agenda, sir. How long's it going to take to fix me properly? A month? A year? You have the right to disapprove of our methods.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Pues hace un momento me ha dicho que fuera la mierda. A ver.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
This hospital seems to be falling apart. But in the circumstances, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Ah, vale, pero eso después.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured, you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk.
Ahora que le doy el remedio ya no.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
But in the circumstances, I'm... Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Pues nada, pues no tengo nada que hacer. Está bien. Está, ya le da el remedio, ya enseguida se pondrá bien. Sí, pero no quiero beber a nadie. Aunque Me siento tentado. Tentada. Veamos. El doctor estaba aquí. ¿Qué narices quiere?
Please, Jonathan, come in.
¿Me hace hacer una obra de Shakespeare?
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Antes voy a registrar el despacho. Como este. A ver qué más encontramos por aquí. Vale. Aquí hay más cosas. Muchas cosas aquí.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
Sí.
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skald?
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Yeah. Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
How do Skalds come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Y también tengo que dormir. Porque la verdad es que tengo muchos puntos de experiencia ahí. ¿Podrá abrirlo ya?
It's locked.
Okay.
This dead flesh needs it.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on within these walls?
I have no time for mortal games. My secrets are beyond their comprehension, Dr. Reed.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark.
Me hace mucha gracia porque esta tía se cree que es un vampiro y me trata como si fuera un mortal cuando yo soy...
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard rumors of underhand dealings in the hospital?
If you want to know what's going on here, you better talk to Miss Jones. She knows everything. Especially what she shouldn't.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Digo que hay una tía que cree que es un vampiro y me habla como si fuera mortal cuando el vampiro se supone que soy yo. Ya está.
I feel better already. Can I go soon?
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Todavía no.
We'll talk again later.
Te quedas aquí, que aún no tengo el remedio.
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
Ay, está bien, pero yo estoy buscando a la enfermera Jones.
If only there were more of us, with less...
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
No se vaya tan rápido que voy a hablar con usted.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening,
No,
Doctor.
pues esta no es. ¿Y dónde está la enfermera que yo busco?
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Me falta una enfermera. ¿Será la otra muchacha? No. Estará encerrado. ¡Ay! ¿Es usted la señorita Jones?
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
No, estás Crane.
What can you tell me about our patients here at Pembroke?
This hospital was founded to help the East End poor and needy. But since the war and the quarantine, we've had all manner of folk.
Can you be more specific?
Well, veterans, the elderly, dock workers. We even have a few mental patients. If there's space, we take them.
What can you tell me about the epidemic, Nurse Crane? I've been out of touch since I've come back to England.
Everyday folk don't know how bad it is. The papers certainly won't tell them. Not as long as the war is raging on, anyway.
News on the front stated that the Spanish flu was under control, at least in Britain.
It seemed to be for a while, but that was only last summer. It returned with a vengeance just over a month ago.
For how long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
I first volunteered at the Pembroke in 1911, a few months after Dr. Swansea was appointed.
And before you arrived here?
If you must know, this was my first job.
Well, Dr. Swansea certainly has confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing staff?
Not in an official capacity, but the Pembroke doesn't always work above board, so to speak.
What about medical protocols?
Dr. Reed, we don't have the money and resources here at the Pembroke like they do in the West End. We do what we can.
How is the duty roster organized?
Everybody works until they can't. If there's time, they'll eat a meal and shed a silent tear.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
No, esta no es la que yo estoy buscando. Ay, que no quiero marcar a nadie. Quiero salir. Estas Hawkins. Pues no sé dónde está la enfermera de mi falta. Hay una señora y no he hablado con ella. Vamos a ver. Y como... Oh, está metida... Está metida ahí dentro y no puedo hablar con ella. Pues nada, tendré que hablar con esta señora primero. No veo a nadie más, así que...
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough.
Es usted, la vampira.
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Alguien con un poco de cabeza que no va diciendo por ahí que es un vampiro delante de los pacientes.
Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Ay, mi perrita. Guapa.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
Guapa.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
Guapa.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need weight.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money.
Me he pasado como 10 minutos intentando.
Patient or their family.
Me pasa como 10 minutos intentando evitar la palabra vampiro y lo sueltas tú.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
Pancha, cabrona.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Ya veo.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
¿Qué? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué es eso?
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Dr. Swansea is quite busy, and I need you to help me get acclimated. I have many questions.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans. Oh, so all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. Oh, scratching, slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Y antes de irme creo que voy a...
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Falta una enfermera, siempre me falta una enfermera.
Clear again.
En cuanto se guarde el chico, seguramente vaya, me acerque a mi cuarto. Voy a dormir, ponerme los punticos y eso, y probablemente lo dejemos ya aquí. Más que nada porque me estoy muriendo de hambre. Y necesito ir a hacer la cena, chicos. A ver. Esto me gusta, esto también. ¿Cuánto cuesta? 500. Y esto también vale 500. Esto es que me gusta, pero... Quiero pillar los dos de la mordedura. Más vida. Ay. Y vamos a con... Sí, no, así. El próximo que pondré será... Oh, se me acaba de cerrar el juego.